I saw one of those full body VR kits the other day and immediately thought of this. Then I thought back to Christmas 2009, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I remembered after making some truly miserable attempts to mimic some trick shotters on early YouTube, I dreamed of basically this exact thing. Of course, what I was thinking was more like Jack and Mega Man, I'm trying to CS surf, but with enough psychedelics, this would do the trick.
Fuck, I'm breaking through, bro.
So why did my brain jump straight to the hamster wheel? A need for exercise? An overload of dystopian content? Sure, but the more I thought, the more the obvious answer seemed to be that in a lot of ways I already thought of games that way. Not every game, but most modern multiplayer stuff for sure. I remember I could burn hours in COD when I was younger just running domination, genuinely excited to unlock new guns and stuff. Now I get into match 3 and I'll get spawn camped like twice and I'll be like, all right, Indiana Jones it is, and hard quitting to the desktop. Why isn't it the same? The movement's nice, the feel is right. Tonight, it's so functional, streamlined, but it's sterile. It's controlled conflict, localized proxy warfare, simulations and predictions. On paper, I know it's better, likely the best it's ever been in a lot of ways. It's fairer, it's more accessible, noobs aren't getting stomped, blue-collar workers have their own lobbies among other tradesmen where the fact they work for a living doesn't force them to get crapped on by people who live on a screen. But all the controlled variables, all the chaos prevention mechanisms, all the commitments to fairness. Am I a bad person for not liking that? The more they're added in, the less any of it feels worth experiencing. Also, if I have to play in Nuketown one more time, I'm making a RageBait 4chan account. The stakes feel minute. The process is outweighing the experience, the levels level, the attachments pour in, more, battle pass events, slurs, double XP, bad camos, the wheel turns, time passes. I think I should be having fun. My brain tells me it likes the feel and the visuals, the sounds and the nostalgia, but I don't feel the fun. I'm too aware of the wheel. I can't get absorbed. I don't feel much of anything for it. In a few months, I think I'll have forgotten it. I'm not just describing Call of Duty. Games are tired, or I'm tired of games. It's starting to feel too close to home. There used to be a divide. Gamification has wormed into everything, or maybe the pattern is just becoming more obvious. Buy, battle pass, double XP. Oh no, my house and savings. Games are being played with our livelihoods, our health, our lives. The common phrase was, all the world is a stage, but the Alan Watts view that you're simply playing the game of life seems more accurate. And day to day, I seem to alternate between viewing that as comforting or disquieting. The wheel turns. Another round. Being above the common is considered winning. Falling victim to societal pressure is considered losing, or at least it's presented that way, but in any context, with any outcome, something is lost participating in this system. More is lost viewing things through the plus and minus lens that we're accustomed to, now indoctrinated to thanks to social media addictions of showing off your lives like we're waiting for judges to throw up the scorecards. Just bouncing from life checkpoint to life checkpoint, grinding XP, deciding participation on perceived benefit. Turn the wheel, level up. I've noticed that the best games, to me right now, feel like a good conversation. You bring who you are to the table, operate through your view and according to your experiences in this crafted world, and the game, the world in it, the people who put themselves in it, that world, those people, respond to you and show you what you are or what you could be through their perspective. A conversation, a good one, sings in harmony, builds from its contributors. This doesn't necessarily require a choice-based game or an open world. Stories can be linear and still listen, still allow for interpretation and individual experience of its themes. The best games make you feel heard, seen, They either allow you to feel something that might be either difficult or lost from you in life, or show you a perspective that you weren't aware existed. It adds to you, exposes you to things that you need or want to feel while you have a good time. The best parts of life are good conversations, too. Campfires and dinner tables with people who like to hear what you have to say, whether or not they agree. They add to you, round you out. It doesn't need to have a point. It doesn't need super rigid structure. It just needs to flow. I forget the wheel when things flow that way. We don't really converse as much anymore. We just talk at each other, or hide from talking altogether when we know we don't agree. We're constantly baited into reaction by black and white interpretations of complicated events until everything is gray, not because we see the nuance, but because we don't care about either side. There's just too much to care about. Maybe games don't have the awareness necessary to communicate as deeply anymore because we don't. It's not Call of Duty. It's us. It always comes back to questions of control, freedom and safety, oversight and allowance, discovery and caution. SBMM is a pretty apt way of seeing just how much we feel the need to control. Even something as meaningless as an experience in a game played literally only to pass time has to be sanitized, equitized. Much like every other potentiality for chaos that we force structure onto, it doesn't quite work, and there are unintended consequences. And it can be debatable whether the consequences of trying to control something are worse than the consequences of just leaving it alone. But as per usual, it isn't quite that simple. We used to leave a lot alone. Hell, we left most of it alone. And this control has crept up over time as a response to what we left alone. The past is easy to romanticize, so let's go back. Early humans sit by a fire together, roasting meat from a kill earlier that day. The male is bludgeoned to death by another man. The wife and child are taken along with their meal. The end. See, chaos could be a beautiful thing, free-flowing and unauthoritative, but there's something in the way that every time chaos is introduced leads to less kumbaya and more. In the Star Trek universe, an idyllic Earth society lives in harmony where the only hierarchy is determined by contribution to knowledge, and violence is abhorred unless absolutely necessary to rip the captain's shirt. Now, in the established lore, do you know what enabled the fall of economic-based systems of distribution and allowed for knowledge to be the primary driving force? Was it faster-than-light travel, extraterrestrial knowledge, sex with green ladies? Much more boringly, it was the replicator. The replicator is the elimination of survivalist need. It's primarily an afterthought in the Star Trek universe. You just kind of see it in scenes where they get food or something, but, water, done. Food, done.
500 cigarettes.
Done. These needs are why utopia can't, or maybe just won't, exist right now. And why these check and balance based systems, regardless of the underlying political philosophies, are really the best we can do right now. Because good intentions aside, when push comes to shove, people will pick easier, cheaper access to food and water over literally anything. Over the future, over swaths of people who look like them and don't, over anything. The continuance of the immediate family unit's survival, moment to moment, will win every time. So we lapse into fear and control. Because we as individuals can't really fix the shitty, hierarchical, and predatory structure that arises from perceived scarcity. Because we can't fix the swing of the pendulum between order and chaos. Because the constant fear-mongering of the internet age has led us to fear the loss of our easy survival more than we desire to experience the new or try to improve. And that need for control is now spreading into the only thing that the masses seem to be able to make a measurable difference in these days: entertainment. You ever play a game with a child, one of those made-up games that they like, and you find something that they don't like about it, and they immediately change the game to get rid of it? And this eventually happens so many times that there's not even really a game left outside of do exactly what the kid wants you to do. You see where I'm going with this, in probably more than a few ways. Ironically, the campaign, the part of this game where I can't interact with any real people in a way that I guess might ruin their experience or something, is the only part of this game that really feels inspired. I really liked this campaign, kind of a best of all worlds from COD's past. The story was fun. It leaned into the arcadey, badass with a gun goofiness that I think people enjoyed from all the way back to this series' humble beginnings. Big Red 1 and stuff like that. But as soon as you eke out some wins and a remotely positive KD in the multiplayer, that's when you must be humbled. You will be subjected to lobbies full of the sweatiest, basement-dwellingest TTVers that have ever made minors uncomfortable online. People who are so tweaked out on gamer subs that they're smelling the color of the mastery camo that they've been grinding for 72 hours while their mom comes in occasionally to hold the bedpan. You will be punished for your success. And given how often success is rewarded in the real world by getting more shit dumped on you, you're so good at your job, you get to do theirs. It doesn't feel good when it seeps into your safe space. The wheel turns. You've prestiged. But maybe all of this is inevitable. The rage against chaos and the constriction of control, the grind, regular life seeping into games and games seeping into real life. Maybe that idea of success is a big part of the problem. I don't know, maybe I'm the kid who wants to rewrite the rules until it's my own handcrafted loop of shit that I like until I make myself sick of that too and blame the game again. There's that old phrase, don't hate the player, hate the game. And I think I've been at the point where I've been hating the game for a while. And I was so busy hating the game, so busy dissecting it and wondering why it is the way that it is, I forgot that I built it. I focused so much on getting good, on what was missing, what I was missing, where I lacked. That want to be more, the same one that has led to so much of where we're failing, trapped me in this perceived grind. I've been so sick of running on the wheel for so long, I forgot that it isn't even a wheel, but a house that I live in, with rooms full of things that I picked and these cycles that feel repetitive. I do because at one point I liked it. Maybe I just need to spend time in another room or clear one out and move new stuff in. Sure, I didn't pick or want all of it. There's some shit my parents left, some shit that I need because conditions deem it necessary, but I don't know why I'm worried about what I didn't pick when there's so much that I did. I don't know why I'm always worried about what it could be when there's so much that it is. Maybe I'm thinking and talking too much. Maybe that's where the conversation went. In my head instead of with anything else. Maybe I'm living too much and not playing enough. COD might have changed. Well, me too. Even if it didn't, it wouldn't be the same. But it's still here, and it's still fun. Maybe if I just listen and play, I'll remember why I kept this here. And if I don't, maybe it's time to put it away.